Hey there, and welcome to my first little video tour of some of the organizing tools I use to keep track of what's going on in my life. This right here is a bullet journal, and I also have a link in this blog post to the bullet journal introductory video, which is pretty cool. I recommend watching it. It's nice and short. Bullet journal doesn't require you to buy anything special. You can use any notebook. I happen to use the Moleskine dotted notebook for mine, but you can really use anything that you like and feel comfortable with and think you're actually going to use, which I think is really neat. I need that flexibility because I need it to feel right. So today I'm going to talk about how I use my daily log and a couple of things that I've added from things I've learned from David Allen's Getting Things Done and Stephen Guis's Mini Habits, both great books that I recommend if you're looking for something to beef up your reading list and help you get organized. So here's the daily log. And the daily log lays out 1 week and what's going on. And I get this from Google Calendar at the beginning of the week when I fill this out. Google Calendar tells me what I need to do on any given day. It tells me about appointments and meetings I have, and it also tells me about deadlines and tasks. So taking out the recycling, that's on my Google Calendar. My son's dance class is on my Google Calendar. Anything I need to remember to do on a certain day is on my Google Calendar. Anything that doesn't need to happen on a certain day is not. So this is a core concept from Getting Things Done. I think it's very important, and it's why I've added a this week section to the daily log, above and beyond the typical each day notes that the original bullet journal video recommends, because if I don't have to do it that day, I don't write it on that day. This week is a little busier on the days than most because I was going out of town over here, so I had more things that I wouldn't be able to do later in the week. But things like confirming my surf lesson for when I get to the beach, downloading my credit card statement, syncing my music to my phone before my drive, all that stuff doesn't have to happen on a specific day, so I booted it up to the this week section. If you put stuff in your daily to-do list that doesn't have to be done that day, it waters it down, and your brain will know, even if it's not consciously knowing this, that not everything on this day actually has to be done on Monday or on Tuesday. And so you'll miss things, or you'll be okay not checking everything off. But so I really keep things on there that can only be done that day, like renewing or returning library books, taking out the trash, taking out the recycling, stuff like that is very specific to that day. And I try to keep my daily to-do list very, very clean. My just general to-do list is kept someplace else, so that when I look at today, I only see the things that are essential for today. Another thing that I've added, and this is from Mini Habits, is little things that I want to set goals to do every day, like play an instrument. And just so that you get an idea of Mini Habits, if you're not familiar, this is very small. Playing an instrument is not, I want to play a half an hour a day. This goal is to pick up an instrument and just play one note. And then I can put it down and I can claim a success for that day. So I wrote down what instrument I had played that day. And this is important too if you, like me, have really bad memory problems, because I actually wouldn't remember if I had succeeded at doing any of these things unless I wrote it down. So in addition to some accountability, I know I'm going to have to write something down, and I put this daily log open at my place at the dining room table before bed every night, so it's the first thing I see when I come down for breakfast in the morning. So I know I'm going to see this accounting of my progress, and that gives me a little accountability. But also it helps me remember. It helps me remember that yes, I did do something every day, even if it was just putting a book that I had read already into our little free library out front. And that's a little thing to clean up the house. Again, Mini Habits are very small. And then going to another section where I was preparing to go away for a longer trip, so it's also busy. And you'll see the same kind of setup, and I want to point out something that changed, and it's the mini habits section along the side. I had started compiling the Order from Chaos ebook, and so I wrote down the number of words I added to the document each day. This is not a mini habit. Adding almost 2,000 words to a document is not something I would ever set as a goal, because it would be intimidating. If I felt tired, I might not sit down and try to do it. But also, things that we monitor and record, we tend to pay more attention to, we remember, and we want to do better. So that's why I wrote that down, just to keep a record of how much I did. And if I got feeling bad about not getting enough done, I could look at that and say, well, yeah, I did. I kept my instrument habit, I kept my cleanup habit, I added a yoga habit. And again, mini habits. This is one yoga pose. I get out my mat, I do one yoga pose. All right, and then I can check off yes. Now, the beautiful thing about mini habits is that once I'm on the mat, I often do more. Okay, so, but this gives me something that I can look at and say, yeah, I was really successful these 3 days. I did my yoga habit every day, even if it was just one pose. And like I said, sometimes I do more. So this is a way I kind of integrate several different ideas and systems that I've read about. David Allen's Getting Things Done, Stephen Guis's Mini Habits, and the bullet journal system into one 2-page spread where I can look at it every day. And, I get that tactile experience of writing things down, which is very important for me. I remember things better if I write them as opposed to typing them into my regular calendar. So it's good to have it 2 places, and it's good to have written it. So this is how I keep track, and I'm happy to hear your questions in the comments or your requests for future little video features, and I would be happy to talk more about this. I hope it was helpful.